Well, we gotta go last.
This dude. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1. All right. It's your man DJ Seko, part of the Fly Guy. Mr. Drink Too Much Stivers Coffee. I drink that Stivers coffee. And who else do I have on the line with me, good brother?
We got co-host Sheena Boston. Sheena, show him some love.
Hello, family. How you doing? This is your new Fly Girl Sheena Boston. Come and hang out with you guys for the first time.
That's what's up.
All right.
That's what's up.
And then, of course, you got Bert Bergen wearing many hats. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing a hat right now by Panther Wear.
Salute that.
And many know me from Wear Black Biz and Fly Guy here.
All right. So, hey, let's do a fist for Blair.
Found my fist, baby.
Found our fist. And speaking of somebody who found her fist, we have a guest tonight who is really passionate about changing the environment in Norfolk, Virginia. She said that it's going to be a hot summer, and she doesn't want the heat to come from the streets. She wants the heat to come from the love from the adults in the community. So we're going to let her introduce herself, and then let's go right on into it. So, Queen, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. This is Kezia Hendricks with Actions Speak Louder TV, where it's better to not be angry but be active.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Absolutely.
So who is Kezia Hendricks, aka the Keys?
Well, Kezia Hendricks, my brother gave me a nickname. He called me, now I have 7 sisters. He has 8 sisters. And out of all the sisters, he called me Save the World Sister. So I guess I feel like I'm like the Harriet Tubman of today. I plan to make change in my community, not just by talking about it, but actually getting everybody together to take action. So that's who Kezia is. Kezia is someone who's tired of things not changing, and so I'm not one to complain. I just want to see what solutions can be brought forth. That's the whole point in Action Speak Louder TV, is to identify solutions and identify actions that's actually going to bring change to our community. So I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to share with you my vision. I first want to acknowledge this wonderful, this wonderful media or medium that we're using to reach out to everybody. And, media changes the perspective. So this is just, I'm excited to be a part of this.
That's right. And speaking of that, we are powered by the Zoom platform. So salutes to Zoom.
Yes. And we want our check. We're sending you an invoice for that plug.
Invoice is forthcoming.
Yes. So Keys, you said
Absolutely.
where do you fall in line? You said you're one of 9 children. Is that correct?
So no, it's actually 12. I have 7 sisters and 4 brothers.
Okay.
Yep, I'm in the top 5.
Okay.
I'm in the top 5. So I have 4 siblings that are older than me. My mom had 4 children when she met my father, and I am the first child between my mom and my dad, and then they had 7 more after me.
Wow.
So
they had how many more?
I've always 7.
Okay. Woo.
7 children. Yep. My mom had 12. She birthed 12 children, all natural, no C-sections, no twins.
Wow.
So yeah, absolutely.
You said your parents were. You said your dad was a minister. Is that correct?
Yeah, my dad was a minister. He has his master's in theology. I was raised in a Christian household. Actually, one of the most strict form of Christianity that there is. We're Pentecostal or apostolic for those out there that know about that life, where women are not really allowed to have as large of a voice. Now that was back then, though. I think things have changed in the Pentecostal arena. But then, when I was a child, women were to be quiet. So, as you can see, that really didn't fit well with me long term, because I can't seem to be quiet even a little bit. But yeah, I came from a very strict Christian background.
Cool.
And my parents were great, but yeah, that was what I grew up in.
Right. And what kind of a child was Kezia?
Kezia liked to talk. Kezia I was a bit of a crybaby in the beginning, because I don't know, I had a really, really soft heart. But after, like having to take the role of an older sibling, I became more of a mother figure and I was a nurturer. Naturally outgoing, very friendly. So yeah, I mean, I would say I was the angel. I was a good kid. I didn't get into a lot of trouble as a kid. So
okay.
yeah.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Dallas, Texas, in South Dallas. So if anybody of the Dallas area, they know Dallas, Texas South Dallas is probably the Portsmouth of Dallas. It was a very urban community, rough neighborhood. I grew up where I heard gunshots every night. I actually thought that that was normal for a while. I didn't realize that they were gunshots until I got older. I just used to hear them just all the time. So I grew up in a very rough area of Dallas, where you would walk to school and you would see, drug needles on the ground. You would see, crack packages. You would see condoms. You would see crackheads walking the street, in the morning, at night, all the time. So I didn't grow up in a suburban area at all. I grew up right in the heat of, what some would say, a rough neighborhood.
Right.
But my parents were very, very strict. So although I grew up in a rough neighborhood, we didn't really do much. We weren't really allowed to go outside because there were crackheads and, prostitutes walking up and down the street. So we weren't allowed to play outside. We didn't do a lot of socializing outside of our immediate family. I mean, there was so many of us. We only were allowed to associate with church members and amongst ourselves. Because we weren't allowed to do a lot of things like talk on the phone or watch TV or go to the movies or, go to different school activities. So we spent a lot of time inside the home where we created our own language. We would create our own stories. I would say, like, in my household, we became engineers and architects and and masters at a lot of things. Music. I played the violin. My whole family, we weren't. Each child had to learn a strings instrument. I was born in 1982, so I'm not that old, but I grew up as the way that I was raised was like, my story is similar to people that are 60, 70, and 80 years old. So that really shaped the person that I am today, because I have a very different background than my peers.
Right, and the South of Dallas. I know. In the past, we've had conversations. You said specifically you grew up in Boynton. Is that correct? Is that how you pronounce it, Boynton?
Right. So that was near Bonton. And
okay.
Bonton, right. So actually, Bonton was a rival of the area that I lived in. But Bonton and Dixon, I lived near Dixon Circle, and Dixon Circle was Crips. Bonton I believe they were Bloods. They're probably not Bloods now, but Dixon Circle was like where, you know, like most of the gangs and stuff. But yeah, Bunton is another like housing project that, you know, that has a whole long history within itself. So yeah, that Bunton and Dixon Circle, where, you know, was where all the heat was happening, like Seko said. Ooh, yes.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at some pictures of Dixon Circle, and it looks like it was pretty heated.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you go to, it's a store called Little World, and Little World is pretty much where I grew up. It's like here in Virginia, you can't have ABC stores in certain areas. Where I grew up, it was like literally liquor stores on every corner. So next to my school, my middle school, we had at least 3 liquor stores surrounding my elementary school and middle school and high school. And Little World was one of the liquor stores. And in Little World has like this sign that says no drug dealing. It actually, you know how you have no loitering, you know, no trespassing. It actually has no drug dealing. So if you go, Little World is actually where all the kind of like is right directly across the street from my high school, but it's where a lot of the drug dealers hang out. And, you know, they pick up the little high school girls and you know they do their thing. So and it's owned by foreigners. So it wasn't uncommon, you know, to a lot of places in the country, in the United States, in the hood. So yeah.
So despite that environment, you still seem to you seem to escape that environment. Who and what were some of the things that you think contributed to you getting out?
I would say the sheltering of my parents. Although we were raised in such a rough neighborhood, by them like not allowing us to associate with people, we kind of stayed away until we became of age, a certain age. I think some of the I had the opportunity to meet a lady by the name of Muriel Webb, and she kind of became my mentor. She hired me to be like a office assistant for a preschool that she had. She had a chain of preschools, and I had the opportunity to kind of follow her around and learn business. She had a nonprofit. She owned a nonprofit childcare facility, so I had the opportunity to learn about community work. That would be one way. I would honestly say, you know, even though my parents were strict, they surrounded us around a village. So we had a village of people to kind of look up to that exposed us to different lifestyles, that kind of gave us a desire to want to be something different. So I would say that. Going off to college, I had a chance to experience. Well, first, let me big ups to Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones was my science teacher who, my last year of high school, asked me, I think it was probably like the last month, he's like, "Are you going to college?" And I was like, "No, I had no intentions on going to college." And he had some strings. He pulled some strings for me to go to East Texas A&M Commerce, which is in Texas. It was about an hour away from Dallas. And I think that was a blessing because he pretty much just like pulled strings and helped me get into college. And I was able to bring my daughter with me because I was a teen mother. I got pregnant at 15, had her at 16. And so I was a mom for about 2 years of high school. So I was able to bring my daughter with me to college. There was like family housing, and I had an opportunity to experience college. So I think being exposed to those things kind of helped. I think I was 11 years old I always wanted to be on TV, hence Action Speak Louder TV. When I was 11 years old, I had made the decision that I wanted to be a newscaster. Actually, I take that back. I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Actually, at 10 or 11, and I told my mom, I know, right? I was like, I wanted to wear the short shorts, right? And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. She said, that ain't no real job. You want to be out there shaking your tail. That ain't no real job. You need to get a real job. So then I said, okay, well, I'll be a newscaster. And so what I used to do is I used to sit in front of the television and, well, when we could watch television, but because that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. That's going to take about 30 minutes. But when I did get a chance to watch television, I used to sit in front of the TV and mimic the newscaster. Because if you notice, like every now and then I have like a Texas accent, but I learned how to kind of get rid of my accent by mimicking the newscaster. Every word that the newscaster would say, I would repeat and say it how she would say it, and look in the mirror, and to learn how to say the words correctly.
Wow.
Which like if you go to Dallas and you look at some YouTube videos of females talking, you'll hear it's a different, you probably wouldn't even understand what they're saying. But most people say you don't sound like you're from Texas, or you don't sound like you're from South Dallas, because not only did I mimic the newscasters, but my mom used to make us articulate our words by putting a pecan in our mouth and make us say. She would have us recite speeches with a pecan in our mouth to help us articulate our words. So, I mean, she's a phenomenal woman. Like, some of the stuff that she did to help us not be, even though we were in the hood, like we were from the hood. So. Right.
Hey, Sheena, yep. Do you have any questions for Keys?
No, I just want to say that she's very lucky. My mother was also very strict. We weren't allowed to use ebonics or slur words either.
I can believe that.
She wants you to get a job. You're going to get a job today.
Yeah, man.
So, Keys,
we
talked about the past and some of the things that were instrumental in shaping who you are today. So what inspires you today? What is Keys working on? What do you have going on?
Well, right now I'm working on a strategy to help the teens and the youth stay away from gang gun violence and be victims of mass incarceration. Right. I was inspired. First of all, I'm a single mother of 4 children. I have an 18-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And one thing that I realized is that you can't hide your kids from being affected. You can't hide your whole. You can't live in a bubble.
You can't live in a what? Yeah, and I agree with it. You can't just block your children from some of the experiences in life.
Did we lose her?
I think we lost her. But I tell you what, I've been inspired by her story so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You can't live in a bubble. And oftentimes people of my generation, I graduated in 2000, we get our jobs, we get our houses, and we forget, about where we came from, or we don't help other people. So I see a lot of things going on in the neighborhoods in Norfolk, the projects or the development housing, the projects, I guess you would call them that, where our youth are being destroyed. They're losing their lives. They are discouraged. They are uninspired. They're unmotivated. And so what I'm doing now is I'm researching what the issue is. I'm finding the root of the problem, and I am creating solutions. So right now I guess you would say, I don't know, I'm losing my words, but I'm creating a movement.
Let me help you. Let me help
you. Thank you.
She is turning the cities upside down. She's meeting with the sheriff, the city attorneys, city council, men and women, with the first, second, and third precinct. She is turning everybody upside down to get to the bottom of this.
To get to the root of the problem. I'm interviewing. Yeah, and so basically what I'm doing is I'm interviewing everybody that's a part of the issue, a part of the situation. So I'm interviewing drug dealers. I'm interviewing people who are incarcerated. I'm interviewing family members of people who are involved in crime, whether it be drugs or gangs or guns. And I'm getting the full story, the big picture. The other thing that I want to do is I want to deploy solutions. And solutions to me look like mentoring programs. And from mentoring programs, then we need economics. So we need resources. We need money to fund these programs. So what I found is that our youth are discouraged and they think that they can't go anywhere. I feel like, I would say, just to be transparent, my daughter, I've had challenges with her where she wanted to go the wrong direction. But one thing that I saw that helped to turn her around was not only her seeing the Black Friday movie. Thank you, Seko, for that movie. Woo! Black
Baba
Friday.
Seko!
Yes, turn all the way up. And the other thing was surrounding her around a village of women and a village of other people. And I feel like that if we can deploy villages of people around our youth in the communities where we have our most challenges, if we all can get everybody from the Masons to the AKAs to the Kappas to the Alphas to the Omegas, all of these organizations where you have strong Black men to come into the community and come together and really surround these kids with love. Because I was meeting with a young lady on Sunday, and she said, I said, why do you think your brother stole and robbed people and sold drugs? She said because he saw his mom work 12-hour shifts, come home still stressed out, and they still didn't have enough money. So it's all about economics, number one. Thanks
it's all
to
about
Bert,
the money.
Right?
All about the money.
It's all about the money. And then after if we get the money, we gotta figure out a way to deploy the money. And that's gonna be through marketing and helping our youth understand that market opportunities to them the correct way, to market information to them the correct way. There are mentoring programs out there, but they can't get to them. There are resources out there, but they don't even know about them. And I feel like that we can, as a community, need to expose them to their opportunities. And no, we're not going to save everybody. There are some people that want to live that lifestyle, but what we can do is, for those people who want to live that lifestyle, we can plant the seed of information. Because at the end of the day, they may not want to change their lives around now, but at some point, there's going to be something that happened in their life that's going to cause them to say, well, dang, I had that opportunity. This is what I can do because I know that this exists. So that's my response to anybody that says, oh, we can't change everybody. We can't save everybody. Yes, but it's about planting seeds, and it's about coming together and creating a village for those of them that we can save.
Hey, kids, I like to say, we can't save everybody, but we sure as hell will doggone try.
Heck yeah. What are we supposed to do? Like, not do nothing? Like, we just gonna sit around and not do nothing because we can't save everybody? That's a load of crap. And another thing, I'm putting on blast all those organizations that receiving all that grant money, and then y'all ain't doing nothing. Woo! I feel like that.
Write me in the grant. Write me in the grant.
Right, exactly. I feel like, and I was talking to someone, Karen Bailey, the other day. She said, Kezia, I went to go to one of those grants one time, and they made it so difficult. It was so many, so much red tape. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. And she has a grassroots organization. I was talking to somebody else that invited me to, I'm not going to say what fraternity. Somebody invited me to this social gathering, and I asked them, all right, so y'all raising money for an event. They talking about they raising money for St. Jude. I'm like, what, St. Jude, where is that? Is that in Diggs Park? Is that in Huntersville?
Hey,
where's
back
St.
off.
Jude at?
Back off.
Where's that at?
We can't censor her, Seko. We can't censor her. We gotta let her go, baby. We gotta take the chains off, baby. We got to take the chains off, baby.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with contributing to those nonprofits. All I'm saying is, if we're gonna raise money, then we need to raise money for organizations that actually stop the gun violence, that actually give our kids jobs. For instance, Youth Earn and Learn. They give their participants stipends. So if that young man don't want to go steal or break into somebody's car because he want to help his mom with gas money, then we should be empowering organizations that empower our youth. If we can't open up businesses in the neighborhood for right now, because that's going to take policy change, then we need to be able to deploy money where these kids can work and have training and have the ability to know how to make money so that they can, have a little light at the end of the tunnel. I'm tired of these back to school drives. It's all good, but we're limited to back to school drives, chicken and turkey dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and giving them toys. Like, that's it.
You know what I mean? Totally agree with you. I've started to really believe that those type of activities are nice. They give people a good feeling, but they don't have longevity in terms of effectiveness. By the way, we have 7 minutes left. Okay. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I'm able to see that you're out and about. I'm looking at a picture of you now with some young men at a activity. So it looks like you're out there mentoring and doing the same type of things you're charging the rest of the community to do.
Absolutely. That's what I plan to do. I want to make like 100 million of me to go out and become active and mentor as well as spend time with, the youth. So that's what I charge everyone to do that's under the sound of my voice. I charge you to get out of your bubble. I charge you to become active, financially support, as well as spend time at least once a week or once a month with an organization that's a grassroots organization. I'm not talking about the commercial mentor program. I charge you to find a grassroots organization that's actually out here impacting the youth lives. If you don't know, go.
Do you have a list? Do you have a list of maybe 2 or 3 grassroots organizations that
right? So there are right, absolutely. So if you go to Google and you look up the Golden Fold Men of Distinction, that's one grassroots mentoring program. We have CLEAN, which is it's the acronym CLEAN mentoring program. We have Youth Earn and Learn, Jobs for Kids. Buy your instead of going to your local grocery store, you buy your fruits and vegetables, organic fruits and vegetables, from Youth Earn and Learn, Jobs for Kids. And last but not least, Novel Views, which is an organization that teach kids how to computer literacy, the basic computer literacy as far as typing and how to the functions of a computer. Those 4 grassroots youth organizations are great organizations that you can become a part of. If you also want to find out more about those organizations, go to YouTube, subscribe to my page. YouTube is Actions Speak Louder TV, not Actions Speak Louder Than Words, okay? No, not that. It's Actions Speak Louder TV. Subscribe, and as time go on, if you need positive energy in your life, subscribe, like, and share those videos.
That's awesome. Hey, Keith, I wanted to step back a little bit. You said you interviewed drug dealers, you interviewed people who were incarcerated, you interviewed law enforcement. What were some of the takeaways from those interviews that you found?
So the for the law enforcement is really about being is reactive. So it's not much that they can do as far as like rebuilding the community. They are there to protect the innocent. So it's not much that they can do, but all we can do is just have a positive relationship with them and try to understand that their perspective, that they're human too. So that's that. The law enforcement, also from law enforcement, their perspective is that the parenting is really where the problem is. Parents aren't taking responsibility for their kids. Got that. Moving on. All right. I talked to people that are incarcerated. So my questions to people that are incarcerated were, what made you make the decisions that you've made, and what could you have done differently? Or what could have been different in your life? A lot of people, it's usually a rat race. So if they made a choice to get into trouble at a youth because they were in need of something. So a lot of times it's finances. So it became a spiral, out of control type situation when it comes to people my interviews for people who are locked up or incarcerated, as far as like them making choices. It was kind of like a stepping stone or a pipeline, if you had, for lack of a better term. It all really boils down to economics. People not having the finances to survive, and they make their choices at a very young age to destroy their lives legally. So it's a domino effect.
All right, Seko, how much time we got left, baby?
Well, in the last 2 minutes that we have, I'd like to get your impressions, Bert, and get Sheena's impressions on what we've heard this far, and maybe let's walk away with some actionable items, man. Let's get a return on the investment, to use your term.
Absolutely. One of the things we wanted to do is to make sure that our listeners got an ROI, return on their investment, and that investment is their time, the time they took to listen to this podcast. And so I know I listened to Dr. Claude Anderson quite a bit, the author of Powernomics, and he says that we're really living in really critical times. I mean, our community, there's really only three things you can do. You can get a job or a business that generates revenue. If you have issues doing that, then the next thing is to receive social welfare. And with the reduction of social welfare, that's not as readily available. The next thing to do, because people have to survive, they're going to rob and steal. And so we really need a Manhattan Project, just like they had the Manhattan Project that focused on creating nuclear weapons, a nuclear bomb to drop on human lives, humankind lives. We need a Manhattan Project that addresses, I believe, and Keys knows this, we talk in length, the economics, because from the lack of economics, we see the level of instability within our communities. And so that's pretty much where I am on the issue.
All right. Queen Sheena.
My 2 cents is I want to say congratulations to Kezia for spreading the courage, because that is one of the things that is lacking in our current environment. Like she said, so a lot of people take the easy, soft route. We donate to St. Jude's, we help buy turkeys, we do school drives. We don't want to get our hands dirty. We want to put on our cute outfits and our organizational colors and have a good time, and then we feel good because we're safe. But it takes a strong person and a bold person to step out there to challenge people to be more courageous.